In the last episode of Max Mornings, well, it's been a while, and it was a Casey Friday from what we remember, so one can only assume there could have been some kind of talk of wine or maybe a nice Oktoberfest brew. To be fair, these last few weeks have been a blur, and it's great to have Max backs. Since we're having trouble remembering the last episode of Max Mornings because of that little issue with the damage at the top of the tower, let's start fresh because Max Mornings is backs too. Yeah, we're going to keep using this Max is backs thing until we run it into the ground, assuming we already haven't since Friday afternoon when repairs were complete. So let's get this week started with the return of Max Trivia, our Max Morning Jam song, an update on Max Morning intern Marge's neck issues, something gross about cockroaches, an accidental text to Timmy D, you know Timmy D from Timmy D's Big Show, plus old Cotton Candy Head is here with a story or 7 about drinking too much these last 4 weeks. Confused? You won't be after today's return episode of Max Mornings, presented by Becker Jewelers.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Is this the end?
Of course not. It's only the beginning.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, everybody, rise and shine. Time to get out. Get on up.
I want you to get up now.
I woke up this morning, baby.
You get up in the morning.
Good morning.
You hear the ding dong ring.
Morning. Good morning.
Wakey, wakey. Eggs and bacon.
Well, hello. It's all my little friends.
And now if you'll all be quiet, we'll start the show.
Where do we start, I guess, is the real question, as an unexpected 4-week vacation finally comes to an end.
Was that a vacation?
I think, from what people have told me, it's been quite a vacation for me these last 4 weeks. It's great to be back. Do I dare say I got the chills, and I'm happy to welcome old Cotton Candy Head Casey Jandro here. Don't check the calendar. It is in fact Monday, but Casey is here today because this is a pretty well, let's just say it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Max is backs, baby, and we are ready. We are ready for the Max Morning return. So I talked to Casey, who was gypped out of a handful of Casey Fridays.
Yeah.
As a result. So I touched base with Casey Jandro to see if she wanted to kick off Max Morning's return, presented by Becker Jewelers. So good morning and welcome back to Max Mornings. WCXO signals back to the max. And we have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes, we do.
These next several hours as we get the morning started now. Casey Jandro, welcome and good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We have about 7 or more stories of drinking too much these last 4 weeks to share.
I'm sure I do. I was looking at my calendar like, when did I drink?
Yeah, when was the last time I drank too much? Last we touched base, Casey, we have the last a couple of weeks. We did do a few Casey Fridays here with diminished signal. It's funny, I was in Carlisle on Friday. It was the weirdest thing on Friday. We had the repair crews. In fact, when I drove in this morning, I had to look. I was like, there's nobody on the tower. Because for the last couple days last week, there was at least 2 guys up on the tower. At one point, I think there was 3 guys on the tower. And so I drove in this morning, and I'm looking. I'm like, there's no guys on the tower. The cable is replaced. It's fixed, baby. It's back. So Friday afternoon, I was told that they projected 3:30ish when the tower guys were finished on Thursday. You and I were running around town on Thursday, and they were taking down the damaged cable on Thursday, which was weird seeing that cable coming off the tower. And then Casey and I went out the back door to look. We're looking out and we're taking pictures, and they're taking this cable down. And then one of the guys yelled at us. It was a hard hat zone.
Yeah. Hey, lady, you can't be out here.
Hey, freak! And I knew who they were talking to.
What?
I knew they were talking to you. I just had that. Let's just say that Scott intuition when they yelled.
Why didn't they have any extra hard hats?
When they yelled, "Hey, freak!" It was a hard hat zone. And mind you, she has a hard head.
I do.
And I think I yelled at, "Well, she's got a pretty hard head." And then he's like, "Get inside." They were having no part of it. It was a hard hat zone because they're taking this cable off this 500-foot tower, and screws are falling off the tower, and they're cutting they were cutting it in pieces and just letting it drop. Is what they were doing.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they had the pieces of this cable. They were cutting it.
Awesome.
Yeah, they cut this 500-plus foot cable off.
I guess that makes more sense to do it in pieces.
Yeah. They had to put the whole new one up in one thing, but they were cutting it in pieces. So we looked out the door, and they were like, "Get back in! It's a hard hat zone." This was on Thursday. As a result, once they cut that cable, we were dead. The diminished signal became no signal. So we did a update on Thursday afternoon. We have a YouTube channel that we are offering programming content. I have a few details. If I don't share today on WCXO967.com, we'll have better details by tomorrow and certainly by midweek on Max on YouTube and at WCXO967.com. So I'll share those details later. So then Friday morning comes, and the crew shows up. I had to break the news to Casey. I'm like, "Look, it's dead." And this is my last morning off. My 4-week vacation is over, man.
I'm trying to convince you. Let's do it anyway.
Kicking up my feet in the recliner chair, watching my stories, catching up on my stories, watching my shows. It all came to an end. I'm like, I got to savor this last morning because it's all back come Monday. So they show up Friday, and they said, "Don't announce this." They had bets. This tower crew was 3 guys.
Yeah.
And they said, "Don't announce this. Don't make any mention of this," because they didn't want to be on a time frame. But they said, we have bets right now. 3:30 will be done, and they had to take the new cable all the way to the top and then attach it accordingly all the way down into the building and then connect it to the transmitter. The transmitter, which makes Max possible. So they said, "Don't announce it." So I was like, okay. I ran in here, turned on the mic and announced it, and I went, "Oh, the radio's dead, so I can't announce it even if I wanted to." So we had Facebook updates and such. So I had to go on. I was the errand boy. When they needed something on Friday, errand boy, errand boy. They asked, "Where's that guy? Where's that guy with that beard? What's going on with that beard? Where's that pink-haired freak?" They were looking for you and I suppose. That guy with the beard and the pink-haired freak. That is the name of the show. When we rechristen Max Mornings come January.
Oh, let me write that down.
Yeah, write that down. Okay. Come January of 18.
What was it? The
guy with the beard and the freak with the pink hair.
Can we just shorten it to Beard and Freak?
Beard and Freak. It's got a nice ring to it. I like that. It's Beard and Freak. We got to have pink-haired freak.
It's Monday. I wrote bread.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah.
She's working off a Sunday fun day, so bear with her.
That was a whole weekend fun day.
I have no doubt in my mind. So they tell me 3:30, and then I was running errands all day. And I think what they were doing was they were just giving me little busy jobs to get me out.
Keep you away from the hard
Yeah, because I kept
zone.
going out. I kept going out there and asking. I was getting kind of antsy, getting kind of nervous.
What you doing, guys?
Getting kind of excited. Hey, fellas, can I help? I was offering to help.
Are you done yet?
Hey, can you go? And they gave me nuts and bolts. Go to the store and try to find a nut that fits this bolt. So I went to every store in Carlisle trying to find a nut that fits this bolt. No luck. So I was on a soda run, and I stopped by CC Food Marts, Route 127, grabbed my rewards card, and I grabbed the boys some drinks. And I get in the car, and out of habit, I always have the station on, and it's been diminished signal until Thursday last week. It was dead, right? And then Friday, dead air, static. We had other station kind of bleeding in a little bit. What was the show? Meathead and Butt Munch. What was the name of that show that was kind of bleeding in on Monday, whatever day that was?
That was it. Yeah,
that was the name of the show.
Meathead and
Somebody
Butt
took
Munch.
Meathead and Butt Munch, so we can't use that. We can't use that for the new show.
I'm calling Meathead.
when we rechristen Max Mornings, unfortunately, somebody already took Meathead and Butt Munch. So we had another, couple stations kind of bleeding in. It was basically a dead station, static. So I get in the car and I'm driving through, and I got stuck in school traffic. Carlisle High School was letting out, so I got stuck, and it took forever. So I'm flipping through, and I come to our spot on my stereo in the car, dead air.
Yeah.
Total silence. And I was like, because dead air is usually bad.
Right, really.
Dead air is usually a bad
Really
thing. I think I
bad.
texted
Yeah.
you. Dead air is usually a bad thing, but I heard that dead air and for the first time, and it was like, it's on. And I pulled it's alive. It's alive. And it was such an awesome feeling just to have that dead air. Total silence. Silence has never sounded so good. So then I took back roads. I was driving through and trying to get back to the station fast because I was excited. I'm like, we're going to get back on the air. And I come running in. They're all standing in a line. They're like, where the hell have you been? Because they're waiting for me to start this thing because they got to do some tests.
Right.
They have to do some tests before they can leave. So they're waiting on me, and they're like, and it was the engineer and then the 3 tower guys, and they're all standing there, and they're like, where the heck? Well, it's about time. Now I'm like, I'm trying to get you guys sodas, and I got stuck in school traffic, and I couldn't find the nut that fit the bolt. And they're like, we want to go. And so they were finished at 3:31.
Oh my gosh! So right on the net.
Yeah, I mean he was a minute. They had a bet, the 3 tower guys. 3:31. He said 3:30 we'd be back on the air. Or they'd be finished. And I think we were back on the air before 4, and it was awesome. And it was great to be back. Engineer wanted to do some stuff before they could all leave because if there was anything they needed to do, they had to test a couple things. So they got their sodies, and off the tower guys went after a job well done. I would say between Thursday and Friday, about 5 hours both days.
Yeah.
In danger up on that.
That would be neat.
Up on
That'd be
on
cool.
that tower. Yeah, neat job until you slip.
That doesn't happen that often.
That's a great job until you slip.
I wouldn't slip.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Miss Perfect over here. Yeah. The pink-haired freak would never slip, right? So it was pretty exciting, and it was great to have the station back through the rest of Friday afternoon and into the weekend. We will return to regular scheduled programming as we begin the week this morning. So consider this the second coming of WCXO Carlisle.
Like a phoenix.
As we begin phase 2.
Phase 2.
This is what I call it, phase 2. And I thought it was only appropriate since Casey will be joining me on Max Mornings in 18. I thought it'd be appropriate to welcome Casey Jandro here this morning as we usher in Era 2 of WCXO following what was just an absolute awful 4 weeks.
Oh man, what happened in October?
And it's crazy. It's crazy. I talked to our engineer, and they actually you were with me at the Halloween parade in Breeze, and I had people coming up. Why is it taking so long? And I'm like, I don't know. I was trying to find a screw that fit a bolt and a nut and a washer, and I don't know any of this stuff. I'm just getting sodas. Why is it taking so long? From what my engineer told me, that we actually were back in record time, considering it could have taken a lot longer. The severity of the damage at the top of the tower, it was a doozy. Yeah. Catastrophic lightning strike was the culprit that knocked the radio station for knocked us out pretty much. Considering 1999 next to that that lake over there, and there's a 500-foot tower in the middle of a cornfield. What about a hop, skip, and a jump from Carlisle Lake? We've been pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
And then what was happening last night? Lightning.
But it wasn't much.
Lightning. I told the wife every time it would thunder and then lightning, I'd be like, "No!" I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna be a little on edge here these next few storms as we settle into era 2 of WCXO. It's great to be back, and we have a lot to do as we begin the morning. Casey Jandro is here to help us get this Monday morning started. And we're going to get, like I said, back to some sort of semblance of business, as we say, business as usual here on Max Mornings. Check out WCXO967.com. WCXO967.com. That's a way to keep up to date on what's happening online. Finally, a website courtesy of Jandro Studios. We have a website, WCXO967.com. There is content coming. It's still pretty basic. We're looking at a Scott and Casey page. We have a marker on it right now. What's really cool about this website, though, live WCXO sports broadcasts are available. If you want to click on live sports, it'll bring you to our YouTube channel, and then you can listen to our sports broadcasts, and occasionally Casey and I will pop up there, too. It's WCXO967.com.